world, we have another, yeah, you guessed it, cheating scandal. Basically, Bobby Hess came out swinging against FIDE and the hybrid events. There's an article on chess.com. Hess asks FIDE to address suspicious rating games in hybrid events. Hybrid, which means that you play from a certain location with a proctor next to you, but the games are being played online. And there's been that's an invention from the COVID pandemic era. Some people play it, some people gain a lot of rating. And it kind of drew the eyes of Bobby. And you know Bobby very well. You've tweeted about this as well. Tell us a bit about what's happening there.
Okay, these hybrid events were put in place before COVID a little bit, but then especially during COVID, they became sort of like a more regular thing, I guess. But I remember playing the Fisher Random World Championship, and it was hybrid. It was with the live proctor, and that was in 2019. And there was also, I think, the qualification for the World Cup. I guess that was for the 2021 World Cup. And there was some, suspected cheating, maybe. You never know, right, with these hybrid events, because if the arbiter is not honest, and that's possible, or if the arbiter is incompetent, then you could have someone arranging computer cheating. The other bigger issue was brought up by Robert. And this is something I heard of very casually at some point. I forget when, but people were making jokes about like Bulgarian players, and I didn't really understand what that was about. And I didn't really pay attention to it. But then I heard more recently, before Robert came out with this, that about these hybrid events, and that some players in the US were gaining hundreds of rating points in a single list or even a single event. And obviously, no reason to name any names of those players, but the tournaments were suspicious. They were playing players from one country in these hybrid events, winning all the games. I didn't check the moves, right? So I don't know, let's say, how the games look from a, let's say, human point of view, but the results itself are just, they don't make any sense.
Yeah.
You see these players, they gain like 150 points in one event, then they play a real over the board event, they lose 50 points. And it's always between players of a certain country.
Some stuff. Basically, the match is between the US and Serbia, and you can see how many rating points the US is winning pretty much every single time they play. Like 57 gain, 61 gain, 14, 8, and Serbia is just basically losing. So, yeah, a lot of speculation about these tournaments. Obviously, there's no physical proof, but this looks pretty damning.
So the thing is,
great.
At some point, Robert got in touch with USCF, and I think he's also like one of the heads of the players committee. So it's also like something that he has an official position to be able to deal with these things. So he got in touch with the USCF, and he told them about this, and they decided not to register hybrid events with FIDE.
Mm-hmm.
But then these hybrid events, since they couldn't register them with the USCF, they decided to register them with foreign federations. So you were having these events, which are hybrid, which were with US players and foreign players registered with foreign federations.
So it doesn't count for USCF ratings, but they found a loophole to even for US players to be able to count them for FIDE ratings.
Yeah, and the thing is that this will very likely lead to some sort of players qualifying for either the US Championship or the national team.
Or the Olympiad. No, that's big. I mean, selection in the Olympic team, that's huge on the resume of pretty much every single player. Being able to play the US Championship or like US Women's Championship, that's another crazy thing.
Yeah, again, not to name names, but there are players who will qualify definitely for the US Championship, maybe even for the Olympic team, which is obviously a higher threshold for rating that you need. And it's not entirely clear if their ratings reflect their strength.
And at the end of the article, it's the CEO of FIDE, Emil Setovsky, says, looks more than suspicious. Indeed, we will look at it closely and take a prompt action. I'm not 100% sure what prompt action means, but this is not a one game cheating allegation. This is increasing your rating by hundreds of points type of allegation, which is damning if proven correctly, should probably be followed by swift action and consequences for everybody involved.
We understand that these events happen over the board where you can buy games from people. Definitely these happen. Definitely some players have taken advantage and gotten titles this way, or gotten rating this way. But I think they should just not rate hybrid events at all.
Yeah,
it's too risky. There's also the potential for cheating. You don't really know if someone could be, like I don't know if I always would trust arbiters, and I wouldn't trust hybrid events. I trust arbiters to enforce anti-cheating measures, so I think it's better if these things just disappear, at least for now.
I think, and probably they had their place when COVID first started and everybody was sitting at home. And I think we've even had some European championship or European hybrid championship in which some decent players played. We played the Romanian championship online. So it had its place at that moment. It definitely doesn't right now. It's just, we're basically back to normal. Let's just get back to normal play.